What up, world? Welcome to another episode of RMT. That's Real Man Talk. It's your boy, Stan the Man, coming to you with another great conversation piece on today. And before we get started, I want to thank you for joining me here on RMT. All right. So, on today, we're going to talk about, in my notes, the pain of not providing. Yes, the pain of not providing. Because no one really want to talk about how it feels to be a man, be a father, be a provider, be all those things, and it still don't be enough. You look into your kids and your wife's eyes, and they want something, and you can't do it. You smile, you nod, but deep down inside, man, you really dying inside. And see, at at an early age, men are taught that your value is in your wallet. So what you based on how you love or how people treat you is based on how much money that you make or how you can provide with this financial being. But with financial means, right? So tell me this. What happens when your heart is heavy but your pockets is light? What happens when they looking at you and saying, look, if you don't got the money, if you can't provide, then you less of a man. It's tough when the woman that you with and see you in a tough spot and she looking down or she talking down on you because financially you don't have it right now. Everything else you might have, but that part you don't have. Man, that makes your not only your heart heavy, it breaks your ego down. And that's a heavy weight to lift when you're going through your woman on one side and then you already can't provide on this side and you're going through a little something that weights start getting heavier and heavier, almost to the point where you just can't take it no more. If you ever been to the gym and you're trying to lift weights that's too heavy, you need a spotter. And when you get in this situation where your heart is heavy, your money is low, and you're going through and you're trying to lift that weight, the spotter is gonna be God. He gonna help you lift that weight off of you, and you ain't gotta worry about trying to kill yourself to lift it by yourself. And we go through life saying that if I don't have the money, I'm not the man I need to be. But ask yourself this: who are you without the money? Who are you without the money? Are you still that same person? Do you still have that same character if you don't have the money? Or is the money who make you who you are? See, some people need money to be who they are. Some people, if they went broke, some men, if they went broke right now, they would not have the same personality. They would not act the way that they act. They would not be the father, or they might not be the husband, or might not be the uncle. They might not just be the same person, period, because the money is what make me. The cars is what make me. The house is what make me. The good job is what make me. This business that I have what make me. The social media is what make me. Everything that makes you is outside of you. Everything that makes you is something that's tangible that anybody else can touch. But what about the character and the other traits that you have that that everybody demand as well? Do you have those traits, or it's just the money that makes you? And let me ask you this. You know, if you truly with that woman and she truly love you, she truly care about you, let me ask you this. Do you think if you lost everything that you had right now, well, I ain't gonna say just lose everything. Do you think right now, if you couldn't go on a vacation, if you couldn't take a trip, if you couldn't go to the movies, just on a regular, if you couldn't do those things outside of just basically spending some time with each other at the house, or maybe going to the park, or you might even catch a movie here and there, but anything outside of that you can't do you think that she can be with you? Or just take the movies away. Do you think that she'll be with you just for you? Or is those events the thing that's gonna keep her around? It might come a time in y'all life where it might be a little tight. Is she gonna be okay with it being tight at that time and stay with you, or I need the money flowing, or other than that, the deuces? Hmm? And so let me change gears real quick on that, right? So let me give you a scripture. It's Matthew 6:31-33. Therefore, do not worry, saying, what shall I eat? Or what shall I drink? Or what shall we wear? But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be added to you. Now, this scripture right here is easily read, right? This scripture right here is easily taught. But how easy is it to live this? See, it's a lot of people that are out here that'll talk it. It's a lot of people out here that can teach it. It's a lot of people that can read it, but who out here is going to actually live by that? And I'll be the first to say that at times it's a little hard to live by. It's a little hard to walk by faith if it's something that you never did before. So let me break down the difference between you worrying about an issue and you thinking about a problem. It's two different things. Worrying about an issue is this. Worrying about an issue is that you take, well, I'm gonna say thinking. Thinking about an issue is you are plotting out a plan to figure out how to solve the issue at hand. So you're thinking about several different things that you can do to solve this problem. That's thinking about it. You're not dwelling on the negative. See, when you're worrying about something, you just dwelling on all the negative outcomes that could come out of a situation. You're not never thinking about nothing positive. I'm thinking about everything negative that can happen in the worst case scenario, period, out of this. That's when you start worrying because you figure it ain't no way out. It ain't no way that I could ever get out this situation. But when you're just thinking about it, you trying to figure out a solution to what's going on. So you sit down and plot out a plan. And see, we might get caught up in worrying about it. And what do we say? Therefore, do not worry what you should eat, what you should drink, what you should wear. Don't worry. He didn't say you don't think about it, don't set up no plan, but he said don't worry. That's two different things. And as men, we tend to worry about how I'm going to take care of my family. We tend to worry about how I'm going to do this for my family, how I'm going to take them on this trip, how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to do that. And the pressure starts to build on us. We start to invite pressure on us that sometimes your family don't even ask for any of those things. It's just the pressure of the world and social media making us feel like that we got to do this for our family or we are not men. That's what it is. It's the pressure of society making us feel like we got to take a vacation. Not only we taking a vacation, we got to take a vacation at certain places, certain areas at certain times. If you're not taking a vacation, if they not taking you overseas, no. If not, I got to fly first class. I got to go somewhere warm in the winter, and I got to go somewhere cold in the summer just so I can stun on everybody else, so I can post it, and I can go live, and I can show how extravagant my life is. Not only how extravagant my life is, but how other people can't do what I'm doing. And we'll take the pressure from that, and our family might not even be asking for just this expensive trip or this extravagant trip to go on. They might just want something small to go do. They might just want to go camping, something simple. But in your mind, you don't feel like that what I'm doing is enough because of the pressure of the outside world and social media making you feel or think that what you're doing is not enough. And your family haven't even said that we don't like this, we want this, we want that. They haven't even said that. So you putting unwanted pressure on yourself on things that your family don't even want. But we are putting so much issue, we're putting so much focus on the material things that we not focused and putting any pressure on ourselves to be a good father? Are you becoming a good listener so you can understand your children, what they're going through, what they're going through in school, where they might have issues at school, or they might have problems communicating with other people, or they might have personal issues that's going on between you and them, but you haven't really talked to them and sat down. You too busy want to give them things to understand your child, to make sure that they grow up with healthy emotionally, physically, and mentally. But the financial part got you stuck because society said the financial part is what you got to do. Now, am I saying that money is not important? No, I'm not saying that money is not important. But I think you have to have a balance of different things when you go into raising a family. You can't just give your child everything and expect them to be a well-balanced individual. So, are you focusing on the other things? If it's health wise, if it's making sure that they know how to budget their money, do they know how to go out and actually communicate with other people when they are not around you? Because sometimes we can be so busy being a parent that we kind of stunt our child growth in order to, so they won't be able to communicate with people in order to get the things they need when you're not around. Are you doing that? Are you protecting your child from things on the internet, or protecting your child from people that they shouldn't be around? Because you working so much, they're like, well, the daddy ain't around. I can take advantage because he not around that much. He just working. Then they come in, they smiling, or they might be crying at night when you're not around because this person trying to take advantage of them. And you don't know. You just making sure the money there, but you're not checking their surrounding to see who they're around. That's a form of protection too. Are you teaching them just the basics? How to cook for themselves. How to drive. How to count their money. I'm talking about just basic things like that. And a lot of people be like, well, they should just know. No, it's certain things that you have to teach them as well. See, we done got so used to the internet that we don't want to even teach our children just the basic things. We expect the teachers and what the school, we expect everybody else to teach them, when it's our job to teach them the things that they need to know to be able to move forward. Because to me, schools gonna teach them the basics, but you should have an advanced class to teach them about life. And that's what we provide as fathers, as men, as leaders. Although you have the money aspect, but it's other things that you should be focused on as well to make sure that your family is thriving. And the key thing is putting God first in order to let him lead you to lead your family into a better position. Because if you in a better position mentally, physically, and got your relationship with him good, everything else, he's going to show you how to mold, how to do things with your family. And see, this the funny thing about it is, like, if you go talk to anyone, if that's man or female, if you go talk to them about their childhood, they'll talk about moments that they had with their parents or with the people that loved them the most. They'll talk about different moments that they had, or anybody that helped them out if they was in a tough situation. That's what they're going to talk about. They're not going to talk about, well, this person bought me that. When your child get older, they're not going to say, because I'm just speaking from my perspective, I don't think about what my dad bought me. But I think about him being at my games. I think about him supporting me. I think about when I need help with my homework, coming helping me with my homework. I think about him spending time with me, going hunting, going fishing. We taking out that quality time to be with me. Yes, I remember all those things. All the things that he bought me, I might remember some of the things that he bought me, but what means the most to me is that time spent. Him just being there, that mattered more. Him showing me about life, that mattered more than just finance. Do y'all think men are more than just money? Do you think that? Because let me ask you this then. If if that's the case, because we are protectors, we teachers, we leaders, we providers, we all those things, right? And when I speak of provision, provision is more than just financial. And so while we talking about that, why when God got ready to send Jesus into this world, why did he pick Joseph to be his father? Out of all the people that could have been picked, he could. It was rich men that was It was rich men that was on. Out of all the people that he could have picked, he could have picked somebody rich. Could have picked somebody wealthy, had millions. He could have picked the king. He could have picked all those different people. But why he didn't pick those? Why he didn't pick them? Why? It wasn't because the money that Joseph had. It was because the character and the type of man that he was going to mold Jesus into being. See, that right there, if that meant more, if the money didn't mean that much to God when he sent his son down here, and the person that was raising his son, that's who he picked was Joseph, that he didn't have money like that, but it was certain things about Joseph's character that was appealing to God that he knew needed to be instilled into Jesus in order for Jesus to be able to do what he did. And there's certain things about you as a father, that child that God gave you, it's certain things about you that need to be instilled in that child for that child to fulfill its purpose. And that's not money. It's certain things about your character that your child need outside of money in order for them to be who they are. They do. And once you tap in, you'll understand that a little bit more. My child need a little bit more than just this money that I'm providing. And I know some of us in a situation where the mom might not be acting like that, and you might not be able to get your child. And man, I understand, I understand that. But those of us that are able to be in our child's life, but those of us that are able to be inside of our child's life, we should always take advantage of being there and doing the best that we can do as a father. And I think um being emotional, intelligent, and bonding with your children is way more important than money, because money will get to the point where it almost drive you into depression if you're in a certain point and you're trying to move up. Because see, we'll think like, okay, when I get to a certain age, I should have this, and that. My family should have been able to do this, and that. And when we start to push ourselves into this cookie cutter type situation, it seems like we drive ourselves into depression off something that ain't got nothing to do with us. We setting our goals and stuff on what we see other people do. And that right there can drive us crazy, man. It can drive us crazy to the point where we try to figure out ways to cope. It almost drive us crazy to the point where we'll try to figure out ways to cope without crashing out. Right? We try to cope without crashing out because we know I want this for my family, right? I want to do this for my family. I'm talking about financially. And there's a lot of men out there that have went to try to do stuff for their family financially, end up getting locked up, end up going to jail for the rest of their life, or end up just losing their life trying to provide for their family. And I'm going to tell you, because I was watching the show, I think it was Bel Air, if I'm not mistaken, and the father was going out, and he went and I think he robbed like a corner store or something to get some money, and he got caught. He went to jail. And so the mom was telling the child, He was just out here running the streets. He was just out there, and he got caught up in a life. He left us. He didn't care nothing about us. And she built the narrative around that to keep herself from looking bad. And the whole time when he was going in there doing the robbing, he was trying to provide for them. Because she was saying, oh, well, you ain't a man. You can't provide. And the lights off and this off. And you not making nothing happen. You need to step up, be a man, and make something happen. This man was trying everything that he could try that was positive, but it seemed like nothing wasn't working out. Then this woman was riding his back to the point where he had to prove himself to go out there and provide for his family the best way that he knew how. And when he did, he ended up in jail. And sometimes we try to cope by trying to rush the process when we're in a tight situation. We're in a tight situation, we're in a little squeeze, so I'll do something illegal real quick to get us out this situation. Because it's tough when you got to call somebody to ask for money and you grown. It's tough. It's tough, man. It's even tougher when you got to ask your wife to ask her people to ask for some money to help y'all. Yeah. You all kind of sorry niggas, all that. What he doing? What y'all doing with y'all money and this and that? When it might not even be like that. It might be, you might have made a couple of bad decisions here and there, and you kind of slipped up on the money, whatever the case might be. But when you have to go do that, it's a terrible feeling. I'll be the first to say it's a terrible feeling. So I'll tell you this, man, and I'm not saying it's always the case, but a lot of times your family wants your love, they want your attention, they want you to be present. They want a lot of time the children want that confirmation from their father. That right there is priceless. And don't let your lack of money create a lack of love. I know it's hard. I know it's heavy, but love is still free and encouragement is still free. Time is still free. So all those things don't cost for you to give to your family. And sometimes we think that the money is what they need when there's other things that they need. So, man, if you're going through any of these phases, man, it's just a couple of things that, this is just me that I think about. I got 5 things right here, right? So the first thing that I came up with that kind of helped me through the situation kind of about, not having no financials there is pray daily, even when you don't feel like it. Because sometimes breakthrough come through brokenness. Sometimes that idea that you've been thinking about, it might come through that. Sometimes the confidence that you need might come through that prayer. Sometimes the encouragement that you need, the drive that you need might come through that. Then you can be consistent. It builds discipline as well, and builds a relationship with God. Then I got number 2, talk to other men. I'm not saying that you got to talk to them about all your problems and everything that's going on, but at the same time, sometimes you can bounce ideas off different men and you can find out situations, be like, oh, well, I can move like this, or maybe I can do this, or even you can find a brother that can encourage you to keep moving. I got a lot of guys around me that moving up, in work and life, and, I constantly talk to them to keep myself inspired to keep on pushing and doing more. Now, I'm not saying I'm telling them all my business, but certain things I share with them, it might be job related, might be business related, and some of the stuff might be personal. But I think you should find somebody you can trust, and also find somebody that have wisdom that's not gonna try to push you down a path that's crazy, And my third thing is celebrate small wins. See, we tend to want to knock the ball out the park instead of just get a hit and get on base. See, some of us, a small win like I got on here, just paying a bill. Did you show up for your kid's game? Different things like that. That's a win. And you continue to build off that momentum. Fourth thing I got right here, what I always say: stop comparing your journey to others. Just because somebody got there faster, or somebody even, and see, this is a big thing too. A lot of people compare themselves with the person that's in front of them that's doing better, but a lot of us compare ourselves to the people that we don't think doing as good as us to make us feel good. Oh, well, they ain't got this, they ain't doing that, to make us feel better about some of our shortcomings or while we're not where we want to be. So us talking down and comparing to somebody that might not have as much, well, we might not think they have as much, or it might not appear that they have as much or doing as well as us, we'll compare ourselves to them. And then you comparing yourself to people that might be doing better, like, financially wise, or might even be health wise, somebody that's doing better, and you comparing yourself, but everybody has their own journey on how they do things, on how they're going to get to where they want to get. And if you get so focused on everybody else's journey except yours, if you're driving in a car and you start looking at all other cars, you're going to have an accident. You need to focus on what you got going on in front of you. And the last but not least, man, just forgive yourself. Like, what happens in the past, and I'm not saying, like, this is tough for me. A lot of stuff in the past, to let it go and say, man, I messed up here. I forgive myself, and I hope the Lord can forgive me too, and I'm going to move on from here. I'm going to move on from here. And man, that's kind of tough for us to do, because when you make a mistake and it seems like everybody else moving forward after a big mistake that you made, you like, dang, man, I got behind, and I shouldn't even did that. Now since I did that, man, I fell behind. I don't know what to do. And we tend to be stuck right there like, dang, man, I ain't going to be able to do nothing now. I ain't going to be able to move forward. I'm stuck right here. But I think forgiving yourself, truly forgiving yourself, because sometimes we can say we done let it go and this and that, and it still be in the back of our mind, oh man, I'm still dealing with that. You don't know you really dealing with it until something else come up that reveals that you're dealing with it. You can be having a discussion with your wife, and it might turn into something because something she said that triggered something that you thought you forgave yourself for. And so since she said that, now in the trigger, and in turn, y'all to start arguing about something that's going on with you, and you don't know how to forgive yourself for it, and you reversing it back on her, and this is anger, but you really mad at yourself, and you really want to forgive yourself for it. It takes time too, man. Yeah, it takes time. Man, if your bank account low, if the fridge is low, if the car right now needs some repairs and you just can't do it right now, you just, man, you still enough, man. You still enough. You still enough, bro. Hang in there. It's gonna get better. Because your family just don't need your money, but they need your guidance. They need your presence, your example, and your heart. Yeah, don't let social media define who you are, what you do, and how you do it. So, man, if you enjoyed this episode and you got this far, man, in the comments, I want you to drop. I may not have it all, but I'm still showing up. So yeah, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you want to reach me outside of this YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Stanley Nash Jr., Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Real Men Talk Podcast. Like, comment, subscribe. And if anyone that you want to see on here, any topics you want to hear me talk about, you can drop it in the comments. Also, any of those social media platforms, you can shoot me a DM, and I'll see what I can do. All right, appreciate y'all. Peace.